Hi! So, I've got a video today on what doesn't mean that you've met your twin flame. So, I see so many people going around, and by the way, before I even start this video, I just want to say that I am not going to tell anybody who their twin flame is, who their twin flame isn't. I don't even believe I can tell you who your twin flame is and who your twin flame isn't. I don't really believe that anyone can but yourself. People might occasionally be able to get insights, but I really don't believe that anybody can tell you who your twin flame is apart from yourself. But I just want to go through a few misconceptions that people think means they definitely met their twin flame. Because I can guarantee that some of the things that are banded about as being definite signs that you've met your twin flame, I've experienced with people that haven't turned out to be my twin flame. And I've been around so many people who have also experienced the same things and it's turned out not to be their twin flame. So number one is seeing signs and synchronicities and numbers and 1111 and all these kind of things. Like, none of those mean that that person is your twin flame. I have seen those signs and synchronicities with all my major 3 connections that I've had. If anything, my 2 most toxic, which I really now do not in any way believe were my twin flame, were when I got the most signs, synchronicities, number patterns, and they didn't really mean that person was my twin flame. I also got had telepathy with more than one person. At the end of the day, we're all part of one source. So if 2 people want to connect to one another on some level, or there's some outstanding lesson, there's going to be telepathy there. We're all able to use telepathy. I've felt other people's emotions, I've felt other people's feelings, I've had telepathy, I've thought of people and they've texted me, particularly people that I have had like a strong connection with. And of course, you probably have these things with your twin flame as well, but they're not signs that you have definitely met your twin flame. And I'm putting this out there. I know it's going to be really controversial to some people, and some people won't want to hear it right now, and that's also cool. And I wouldn't have wanted to hear it in the first few years of my journey. But I'm at a stage where I've been through a few connections, at least 2 people or 3 people that I thought could be my twin flame. The first one, I was absolutely sure without any shadow of a doubt that he was my twin flame, and no one in the world could have told me that he wasn't. So I do understand that if people aren't ready to hear stuff, they won't hear it anyway until they're ready. And I'm also not telling you that the person you're connected to now isn't your twin flame, because everyone's journey is totally unique and it could well be. What I'm trying to do is give things that don't necessarily mean someone is your twin flame, because we're ascending. The whole thing of twin flames is ascension, and they're forcing us to ascend and to come into inner union and then be in outer union. So in a sense, it doesn't even matter until you're ready for physical union who's guiding you there, because if you've got a really strong connection with somebody, they're showing you something about yourself and they're super useful for you in that moment to work through. But sometimes I do think that it's possible to hang on to connections outside of their usefulness because of the thing that they must be the twin flame because of X, Y, Z. And I've been there as well, like stuck out things because I've thought that they were my twin flame and I had no doubt. And I probably, in hindsight, could have let go of that a little bit quicker. So signs and synchronicities are not a sign that someone is your twin flame. It doesn't matter how many times you see their name, your favourite number, have the same birthday, look alike. None of those things mean that that person is your twin flame. Telepathy does not mean that person is your twin flame. Picking up on someone else's emotions does not mean that person is your twin flame. These are things that I've experienced with more than one person. I know other people that have experienced with more than one person. There are things, as we're waking up and ascending, we're able to tap into unity consciousness. We're able to tap into everybody, especially if 2 people are open to that connection as well. What else does not mean? that you have met your twin flame. Them saying that they're your twin flame as well, like, but not really being fully available. You know, that doesn't mean somebody's your twin flame. I think I've had maybe 4 men minimum, like, seriously believe they're my twin flame, when I haven't felt any connection to them at all. And, you know, maybe, who knows, maybe one of them was right, and then, you know, I'll have my big awakening or whatever. But I will say that I've had people feel convinced they are my twin flame, and I have known that they are not my twin flame. So what's going on there? They were convinced, like convinced to the point that, you know, they would have moved for me and all these kind of things. And I've been convinced people have been my twin flame. Especially the first one. After that, I was always a little bit more, I questioned a lot more after that. And questioning is so healthy. And I'm not saying to like go out and forget that person that you think is your twin flame, because you're connected to them for a reason. So they're aiding you and assisting you, but it's about knowing kind of when to let go. And the more open-minded you can be, the better as well, because if that person is your twin flame, being open-minded isn't going to push them away. And I know this video is going to be really controversial. I know it before I even make it. But I want to share my experience, because whenever I say, oh, I'm open-minded, people then think, oh, well, it's because she just doesn't know. And it's because she hasn't met hers. But I know. But trust me, if you'd have met me in my first 2 years, I knew. No one could have ever convinced me that I hadn't met my twin flame. Like, no one. So I was as sure as all you people, and they got all the signs, all the synchronicities, all the telepathy, all the astral body experiences, all the signs of like, he's the one, and all of this stuff, you know, with bells and whistles. And it actually served to trap me a lot longer in that connection than perhaps I needed to be trapped in it. And the journey is about ascension. So if you're moving forwards and you're focused on your spiritual growth more than you're focused on the partner, which is difficult. I'm in this journey too. I understand how difficult that is. I understand how hard that is to separate yourself and to focus on the journey. But they will naturally like gravitate into your life, and it will naturally draw closer as you begin to kind of ascend, integrate your ego, become aware of the veils, start to look at your concepts. And I think one of the healthiest ways you can do this is question everything that's not right about that person. So even if you feel this really overwhelming feeling, I really feel like they're your twin flame because you've never felt anything like that in your life, and you have all these signs and synchronicities, and you see their name everywhere, and 1111 comes up every time you contact them, and then 444, and then just question why they're not, like, and if they are, questioning it is still going to make you more sure of who they are, but questioning why they're not, you know, why is that person not compatible? Why is this not healthy? Why is this not this? You know, and then using that to work on yourself, and then the answer will become very clear anyway. But all these things do not mean that you have definitely met your twin flame. I'm just saying it how it is. And I think there's a lot of misleading information out there that these are the signs that you've met your twin flame. And I can say that honestly, I've had at least 2 connections where I could pretty much tick every single box that I'd met my twin flame. And I don't believe either of those 2 men were my twin flame at this point in time. There are other people now that I believe are my twin flame that I didn't even give the time, that I didn't even think about, but I was aware of at that point in time when I was so sure I'd met my twin flame. The thing is, while we're still coming from separation consciousness, and we're still not aware of all of our ego, I mean, you don't have to have integrated it all, but at least be aware of what is ego, what's your patterns, what's your templates. You know, you'll be pulled like to these people. I mean, the first connection I had, I literally was pulled. It's like someone had ripped my soul out of my chest and stamped on it, and then I couldn't get them out of my head. It was 24/7. I'd cried. It activated my kundalini, and I spent literally years believing this person was my twin flame, even though they ran from me constantly. I couldn't go on dates with anybody else, and it was a huge connection, you know, and it woke me up, and it put me on the spiritual path, and it was kind of my activation point. I have absolutely no feeling for that person now. not interested. If I look at them, the light's kind of gone from their eyes and it jumped into somebody else's. But at the time, no one in the world could have told me that wasn't my twin flame. And like I've been saying as well, I had all the signs and synchronicities, all the readers, like, oh, he's your twin flame, and, you know, everything like this just gave me no doubts. And I clung on and attached myself, and I was obsessed. That's one sign that it probably isn't your twin flame, is you're obsessed with it. Like, I was obsessed. I'm not even that addictive, but I was addicted. I was absolutely obsessed with this person, and I just could not kick the obsession at all, until I actually, like, it's like I had to heal myself for the obsession to, like, fall away. So I do understand that if people aren't ready to see that, you know, it's nothing you can say is going to make someone think that that person is not your twin flame. But I just want to say some things for those that are ready to hear it, of what isn't necessarily a twin flame. And it doesn't mean it's definitely not, because I'm not on your journey and I don't know your journey. But please just know that signs, synchronicities, any number combination, any random text, any telepathy, any feeling someone else's emotions does not mean that they're your twin flame. Even them saying they're your twin flame, but they're not available, does not mean they're your twin flame. And, you know, it's just getting really, really real. This journey, it's ascension. It's not really about the romance, although that's what drives us and makes us work harder, because if it was just about ascension, sadly most of us would probably just give up and say, actually, I'm just going to leave this for a bit and come back to it in a few lifetimes. But you have to try and make the ascension the more important thing than the union with the person. And that ironically brings the union with the person. But it's really hard. I'm still really focused, you know, on the physical union. I can't, you know, I'm still working on that. But at the same time, I am really, really, like, truly, genuinely, you know, inspired and interested at working towards my own ascension. But that has to become the focus over everything, because that is how you will open up the doorway to recognize them and to meet them. So I wanted to make this video for those people that kind of are like, oh, I don't know, have I met them? Have I met them? And just to put something else out there, because there's so much out there that, oh yeah, you'll see number synchronicities and you'll be able to feel each other's emotions. Well, I've had all of that stuff with 2 people now and counting. So 3 people now. So you will know when you know. But you won't know when you know. You'll know when you're ready to be in it. Like, it will be a knowing that will be also equaled with you being in physical union. And, you know, I've seen enough couples now in physical union to see the difference as well. People that I truly, genuinely believe are. And I see how they were. They literally probably let go of an obsession, and then they met somebody and they were kind of inseparable. And I'm not saying it can't be somebody from the past and you didn't have a journey, that you didn't awake and you triggered one another and then went off on your journeys and stuff. But, you know, still the path will be the same, about getting over the obsession and just understanding that is about questioning everything. It's about ascending. It's about growing and kind of letting go for the time being on who it definitely is. And knowing that you're on this journey, you're moving forwards all the time. You know, as long as you keep questioning and working on yourself, you're moving forwards, you know, and be patient with yourself and take your time as well. Easier said than done. I'm a bit of a, like, I just want to get this stuff done. So, you know, I identify with all of you that are on this journey because I'm on it as well. But I'm just speaking as somebody who's not even in my stable physical union yet, but I'm still able to give experience of the years that I've been in this, and how you can be so sure that this person is, and they are just a catalyst, showing you where you're at your journey, pulling on your wounds. For me, anything that pulls on your sacral or your stomach area and your chakras down there is not, if they're either not your twin flame, or you're not at the level to have the heart, you know, centered twin flame connection with one another, because it's your wounds. You're being pulled. Your wounds are being placated. You know, the twin flame thing isn't like that. It's not a pulling and an obsession. It's a merging and a heart chakra activation. And I just wanted to put that out there. And then obviously around that, you have to do your own, you know, it's your own journey. We've all got our own journeys, and you all come into your knowing at the time you're meant to come into your knowing, and the same with me. But sometimes just be aware that a knowing before physical union might not be the knowing that you think it is. Because I've had real knowings, and they haven't turned out to be real knowings, because I was still in my ego and I wasn't out of my concept. So I was coming from a different kind of knowing. And I know it sort of feels like trickery. I remember feeling so tricked. I was like, how can I believe anything when I was given all these signs this person was my twin flame? And, you know, then I've let them go and I don't feel them anymore. And I mean, this has been years I haven't felt this person. I look at them and they're like nothing to me. And I've then gone on to have very similar experiences with other people, or different experiences, but strong. And it really is just about questioning everything. And this is why we get a lot of people, I've met my twin, like then a year later they've broken up and someone else is on the scene. We're all desperate, we're all ascending. So when you start ascending, you start to really pine for your twin flame, because you know they're there and you know it's union, and it's almost like you've released the veil of you know, unknowingness. So you know it exists, and then subconsciously you want to project that onto people that feel like they really could be, because they tick a lot of the time. I didn't even know about twin flames, so it's not like I was looking for my twin flame. I met a connection, and suddenly it was an experience like I'd never had. I did not know how to deal with it. You know, I won't go into any more details in this video. And then I very quickly was guided to information about twin flames, and that's where my journey started. And the information at the time that was out there on the internet made me even more convinced that this person was my twin flame, because it ticked every single box. But now, a few years down the journey, does that mean that person's my twin flame? No, it doesn't. It just means that there was a spiritual connection and activation of sorts, and I was just being activated to really start working towards union. And at that point, the yearning becomes so strong that it kind of ends up sort of being placed sometimes in the wrong places. So does it mean it's all a load of rubbish because people thought they met their twin flame and it wasn't? Or people go around saying I've met 4 twin flames? No, I still believe in twin flame union really strongly, but I also believe it's possible to misplace that feeling when you're not, you know, when you're not clear enough in your energy and your heart center. And I think a lot of people, we underestimate what this journey is about. It's not about clearing a few blocks and getting into a relationship. You know, it's ascension. It's huge. It's huge. It's real work. Like, the level we have to get to is, you know, of feeling unity consciousness is so much that it's unlikely you're just going to stroll into somebody, have a spiritual connection of twin flame proportions, and then even be them, because you meet your twin flame when you're, you know, ascending. So there will obviously be different exceptions to this, and people might meet their twin flame and then they, you know, they go through stuff together and they end up in union. So I never want to say never to anybody, because I'm not on everybody's journey, but most times probably they're not going to be the twin flame if there's like running, toxic, whatever dynamics. I think you'll be very surprised when you see, like, on YouTube, the real twin flame couples that have kind of come together. They've probably let go of one of those connections and then it's come in. And that kind of happened to me as well. And even though I'm not like in a full union now, a very similar thing happened of kind of working through some very toxic things that I was very sure, without doubt, was my twin flame, and then stepping forwards into different kinds of energy. But like I said, I don't want to judge anyone's journey, because those people can still come back and be in a different way, but those things do not mean that they are definitely your twin flame. So I know this is gonna cause a bit of controversy as a video, but I'm here to help those people, you know, feel that are a little bit unsure, understand that those things that they read on the internet do not necessarily mean that they have met their twin flame, but they are probably on the twin flame journey, the ascension journey, and, you know, all the stuff is there. And, you know, use these connections, use them to see why you're having these connections. If someone's unavailable or running from you, like, chances are they may not be your twin flame, but you can still use the connection as to, why am I running from myself? What am I running from within myself, you know, or what do I run from? And just question. And that's the way that you will finally know for sure, because you will have questioned it and it will still pass through all the questions. So that's my video for now. I'm going to come back and say more on this, but I just really felt strongly to do this video tonight.